especially if you're going to knock some fools around. So, and you can also be real conscious of that, so you can really easily manipulate someone's center line. So if you step off that, I mean, it's going to open you up for shots. It's going to open you up for stabs, just like an amp card. Because a lot of people are going to try to get real close to you, so you can really get.
If you're really close to you, it can cross a lot.
Yep. Now, as far as weapon work goes, it's really very similar. You want to have a good sound weapon block. I mean, and if people are going to come in and throw their shield into your arm, I mean, you need to have that there to.
When people when I see people bring their edges, I'm not trying to punch the edge, I'm trying to catch it. I'm trying to keep it off.
Right.
You're gonna do that a lot. The reason I kept it so high is because I missed a lot of people will crossfire it.
Right. And there's nothing it's generally pretty good practice if somebody gets in close to you and you take their weapon hand. I mean, even though they can't hit me, they can still bash me good with their shield, hit me in the ribs. Yeah. I mean, they can very easily do that. So if I catch that shot on his arm like that, my good response to that is to follow that
with a solid bash.
Right. And just get him away from me, so that his so that his buddies can't kill him. And that's a big difference between a lot of really good Bell fighters compared to the Bell fighters that aren't quite as good, because they lose their arm, and they'll go real meek, or they'll drop their shield and grab their sword. But the more advanced ones will just try to knock you out.
Could you grab my under the tripod is a stack of CDs, and can you grab the black case? Yeah, please.
As far as also with sword work, you're going to need to. It requires a lot of power generation. So be aware of how your shoulders are moving. You can't arm.
I'm not going to call any of that.
Right. I mean, it's fluff, right? So, I mean, right. You want to make.
They have a sufficient force rule. So if they say it's insufficient, swing harder.
And it's entirely it's up to them too. Every fighter. Some people have lower tolerance levels. Some people have higher tolerance levels.
So try to put it like a fucking brick up there.
Can you talk a bit more about using your elbow and more thumping motion to deliver better force?
Yeah.
While not overextending?
What if you guys have seen Spynn and Brennan's new videos that they put out, where they talk a lot about using your elbow to generate force rather than your wrist? I mean, if you're used to throwing, your dark side shots, and you're using just your wrist, you're not going to get the force you need. So you really need to use your elbow to really get that generation. Yeah. When you throw wraps, you can't extend and just throw these little wraps like this. You need to throw that bitch like you're trying to pound a post in the ground. So when you throw that wrap, you're going to have all that same power generation, but you really got to bring the heat. So it's all because you watch those shots, you feel that strap. Yeah. Now if you look, his wrist is pretty locked as he throws that shot. He gets a little bit of twist on the end, but for the most part, it's all in that elbow extension and in his shoulder. Make sense? Yep. There's a lot of flat blades in Belegarth too.
Do they allow them? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a club.
Why?
It's a glove, it's still
There's a few.
All right, I know where it is. Thanks.
No stabby?
That's stab.
He stabs the club.
It's like a baton.
Alright.
We've already started to get into the aggressive shield work. We'll go into that here a little bit more in depth. Another thing you can do that's really nice with a shield is you can shield hook. a shield hook is, I mean, you use your shield to hook the other person's edge of their shield. So you can hook that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm still really protected. There. I mean, you should be. Oh. But, like, I mean, the shield hook can be really, really effective if you do it right.
I don't know if y'all noticed that he did make contact over there, but when he started his swing, I punched him in his bicep. He didn't have any power at all.
Right.
Ah.
I mean, like, if you're trying to throw pocket stabs and you're coming off like this, I mean, that's really no good. You really want to, like, you want to make them, like, yeah. So, generally what I teach in Belegarth is you have a couple pockets. You've got 2 pockets up here. You can kind of feel up there, like where your collarbone is. There's like an actual indent. There's just like the tip of your sword just kind of catch and stay there. You've got a hip pocket here and here. And you got your armpit, right? And the armpit's a good one. Well, yeah. You can stab in the junk too. It's a good one. But you pretty much want to stab like in those pockets, because if you stab anywhere else, I mean, if like I stab here, it's really hard to get like good contact, you know, compared to up here. Like, you know, any like, I mean, if you really feel those things, like you can grab someone and like shake them out with a towel, by the way, because I mean they're not going anywhere. Along with using your shield, I mean, it's pretty easy to, like, if someone's going to throw a cross, if he throws a short cross, and you know, and then he wants to continue down, like you see a lot of people throw like a shot here, and then they'll try to throw another shot down below, like they'll dip.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like stuff like that. Now it's really easy. You catch that first one, and you can just, I mean, just like you use that body momentum, and you really just force them out of the way.
That's just like you're actually like a little hatchet or something. Or you just lock the elbow and you just chop. Nothing. It's not any big move or anything. Just chop. Like you're actually trying to chop their arm off.
Right.
I want their fucking forearm to follow the ground.
And then in things like single sword and Florentine, I mean, you can really. So if you're fighting Florentine, there's nothing stopping you from really taking, like, if I throw like a wide shot here, I mean, yeah, you can get these big massive chops, but if you're not in position for that chop, then yeah, you can really just use your arm, just grab hold of their arm, shake them around a little bit, not let them swing at you. And you can grab somebody's weapon and tear it out of their hand. So like, say if we're fighting and I throw a real hard chop, it knocks Seth's weapon out of his hand, right? Like there's nothing illegal about that. You just can't grab the blade. So if you're grabbing like their hand or the pommel, you see a lot of people pommel fight.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so you just fucking snatch that thing right out of their hand. Especially if you're a pole fighter, if someone charges you and you post that pole and they swing and you're like, your eyes get real big.
Thank you, baby.
Yeah.